Hi there, my name is Annie Bell. And just to tell you guys a little bit about me, I am married to an amazing man named Curtis Bell, and we have 5 awesome children. Yes, that's right. You heard me right. I said 5. We are kind of that crew that when we're out and about as a family and people walk past us, they kind of at first just walk by, but then realize and do that quick head count and then turn back to my husband and I and look at us and say, "Are these all yours?" And we're like, "Yeah, this is our crew." And usually a very quick follow-up question that I get is, "Wow, you must have always wanted a big family, right?" And something kind of interesting for me in my story was actually the answer to that question was no. Kids were not really something that was on my radar. I didn't grow up dreaming about having kids or being a mom. Kids actually weren't really even on my radar. When my husband and I got engaged, he was actually the one to bring kids up. And I was like, oh yeah, we have to talk about that. I was kind of on this career and passion road. I felt the Lord had given me a calling on my life to disciple 18 to 25-year-old women who grew up in the church and didn't know God. So discipleship and those young women were who I was pursuing. And then all of a sudden, our first one came along, and then our second one came along. And within 7 years, we had 5 kids. So life obviously radically changed. But the thing that's also amazing is my heart got to change along with it. And it's been an entire journey and a story that I'm really excited to get to tell you guys more about. But today I wanted to tell you a little bit more about how I went from pursuing that demographic of 18 to 25-year-old women and discipling them to the Lord changing my heart, keeping that passion of discipleship, but changing me into Mama Disciple. A big part of something in our family that, again, it's going to be another story for another time, but we have these books in our house called The Bell Clan Ebenezers. And these are our stories of when God showed up, did something, taught us something. And the story that I want to read today is called Mama Disciple. When I was first introduced to the concept of discipleship, I was a single college student. Because of this, I thought discipleship meant 2 or more people sitting down, having deep, meaningful conversations, usually over a cup of coffee. Yes, I went to college in Portland. Little did I know then, but this picture of what I thought discipleship was supposed to look like was going to set me up for years of sadness and unmet expectations. I am no longer a single college student, but a married graduate with 2, almost 3 children. Hallelujah! However, with that blessing comes little to no concentrated, deep, meaningful conversations over coffee. As a person who knows God has called her to be a discipler, this is where sadness and unmet expectations arose. When the Lord showed me last week that my primary disciples were my children, I was unsure of where to meet him and my children in that. Not only should they not have a cup of coffee, but there is also no such thing as sit-down, deep conversations at this age. Well, then my great discipler and king reminded me of a moment where he showed his disciples the full extent of his love, and he began to wash his disciples' feet. While a great and very special part of discipleship is deep, meaningful talks, there is also so much more to discipleship than that. Sometimes discipleship looks like waking up at 6:30 a.m. against your will, instantly changing the first of many poopy diapers in the day, and then serving breakfast and washing the trays that you're going to use and wash 4 more times that day, and then picking up all the trails of toys down the hallway over and over again till the day is done, just to do it all again tomorrow. And why do I do this, Lord? Because you have set an example that I should do as you have done for me. And a student is not above his teacher, but everyone who is fully trained will be like his teacher. It was on this day that the Lord showed me that I did not need to put my passions of discipleship aside. And in fact, I actually didn't even need to put my passion for 18 to 25-year-old women who grew up in the church and didn't know God aside either. And my primary disciples were right before me. It was going to look a little bit different I was going to be washing a whole lot more feet rather than sitting on a mountain and talking. But that didn't mean that what I was doing wasn't any less discipleship. I just needed a heart change and a perspective change. And the Lord is continuing to show me more and more every day what that means. And I'm so excited to get to tell you guys more about what that has meant for me in my journey, the things the Lord has showed me, and how being a stay-at-home mom now isn't this burden like it very much was at the beginning, filled with lots of tears and frustration, to now, mind you, there are still many days with tears and frustration, but there's passion and purpose behind it. I see each day through each of these servant-hearted acts what God is doing, not only in my kids' lives and hearts, but mine as well. I am so passionate about being their mama disciple, raising them up in the Lord, showing them what God's love is truly all about, both in word and in deed. And I'm excited to take you along on this journey with me and tell you about what He's already taught me, along with continuing to grow each day as He shows me more and more what it means to be a mama disciple, so that hopefully all of us can become mama disciples together.